This is Cindy again with another spoken life. This spoken life is simply called Dancing with My Father. It's about a father. His name is Mr. Bill. In church, well, they call him Deacon Bill. Now, Mr. Bill had 5 children: Junior, Cabin, baby girl, and a set of twins. But that Cabin and that baby girl, they were something else together. Now, Mr. Bill worked real hard. He wanted to make sure that his children had everything they needed and some of the things they wanted. Mr. Bill would work really hard at both his jobs, go to work in the morning, come home in the afternoon and cook a full meal for his children, and then go to work in the evening. Well, this particular evening, Mr. Bill came home after working. He was coughing and hacking, and his daughter, baby girl, that 16-year-old, said, "Dad, why don't you let me cook dinner?" Probably because he was doing all that coughing. Now, Dad sat at the table like he normally do with his children, finding out what all happened during the day. But as he was sitting there, he began to cough and cough more and more. So he said, "I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to work tonight." Now, Cabin and baby girl looked at each other because they had plans. It was a Friday night. So baby girl said, "Dad, maybe if you take some medicine and then just go to bed, you'll feel better." He said, "No, I'm feeling really bad. I don't think I'll be able to make it to work tonight." Well, this was going to mess up baby girl and Kevin's plan. You see, the Jenkins that lived across the street near the end of the corner was having a party, and Dad had warned them over and over again, "I don't want to see you down there at that Jenkins house. Them boys down there, they always getting into something. They're a little questionable." But Kevin and baby girl wanted to go to that party. When Dad said that he wasn't going to be able to make it to work, that was going to ruin their plans. Well, while baby girl was in the kitchen washing dishes, Kevin came in the kitchen and said, "Well, you know, when Dad's head hit the pillow, he goes straight off to sleep. So when he go to sleep, we can slip on down there at 9 o'clock. He'll never know." Baby girl said, "Yeah, we can do that." So, just like Kevin said, when Dad's head hit the pillow, he went fast asleep. At 9 o'clock, they were down the street at that party. And they were having a good time. But Dad happened to wake up, coughing and hacking, and he called downstairs and he said, "Kevin, Kevin." Now, Junior, his older son, was busy doing his homework. He was going to be a brain surgeon, don't you know? Now, he knew if Dad knew that Kevin wasn't home, it was going to be a mess around there. So he hollered upstairs and said, "Dad, what is it that you want?" He said, "I want that boy to go to the store for me and get me something. I'm still not feeling any better." Well, Junior was hoping that Dad would go back to sleep. And so he sat back down to do his homework. But pretty soon Dad came walking down the stairs and said, "Where's Kevin? Did you tell him I said come up here?" And he said, "Yes." Now, there were a set of twins there, Sherry and Carrie. And baby girl would always tell them, "Snitches get stitches." And when Dad asked again, "Where is Kevin? By the way, where is baby girl?" Well, one of the twins said, "Down the street at the Jenkins house." Uh-oh. Dad said, "Go get me that thick one." Now, the thick one is a strap, and nobody want to get hit by that. And Dad had told them a long time ago, "You never too big or too grown to get one." Dad put on his jacket, took that strap, and went walking down the street. He came to the Jenkins store and began to knock. knocking so hard, Miss Jenkins came to the door and said, "Mr. Bill, what's wrong with you knocking at my door like the house is on fire?" And he said, "I'm sorry, Miss Jenkins. My children down here." Now, Kevin and baby girl heard Dad and tried to slip out the side door. Dad caught wind of that, and it's like he flew down those stairs and caught baby girl with that burst. Passed by, and then he caught Kevin. When he got him, he said, "Go in that house." When they went in that house, baby girl was crying. "I'm going to call the people on you. It's child abuse." Dad went in his pocket and handed her his cell phone and said, "Call." Now, baby girl wasn't crazy now. She knew she better not reach for that phone. Then Dad said, "Go upstairs. I'll take care of y'all in the morning." Well, they went upstairs. The next day was Saturday, and Dad didn't have to go to work. So what he did was turn on the TV to watch the news. Now, watching the news, he couldn't believe what he saw. The 7 o'clock news, early in the morning. He was so shocked. He called for the kids and told them to come downstairs, quick. They all ran down. "What's wrong, Dad? What's wrong?" And he said, "Look." And they looked on the TV, and all of a sudden, their eyes were filled with tears. The news said there was a party on Beechwood Daily, and someone broke into that house, kicked the door down, and shot up 3 people. One was fatally hurt, and the other 2 are in emergency. It was the Jenkins house. One of the boys that were fatally injured was one of the Jenkins. At that, Dad began to pray for the Jenkins. And then he said, "Thank you, Lord," because he believed it was God that woke him up and went and got his children. You see, he went and got his children at about 9:30. That happened at about 10 o'clock. Wow. And baby girl remembered that day. She also remembered something else. It was 20 years later. She sat and she talked to me and was telling me, "I remember that day. I remember it so well. But what I remember also is how Dad would take me dancing. He would put me on a pretty pink dress and pick me up and turn me around. I remember." But what I remember is when my father would take me dancing. You see, he would buy me this pretty pink dress. Wow. And he would turn me around in circles and circles, and I was just so excited. Now, Dad couldn't dance, and I couldn't either. But just the fact that he took me dancing. And my mother, well, I guess you wonder where my mother was. Well, when the twins were born, about 2 years after they were born, my mother was in a fatal accident. But my father stepped right up. He was such a great father. Yes, Junior went on to be a brain surgeon. Kevin went on to work for the FBI in Washington, D.C. The twins, you know, the one snitches get stitches. One went to be a lawyer and the other a doctor. As for me, I'm a lawyer. That's what she told me. Now, she told me that she really missed her dad because after he watched all his children grow up and to be everything that they had said they wanted to be, he was proud. You know, this story warmed my heart when I heard it. I found out 2.02 million fathers are raising children. Also, 9% of them are raising 3 or more children under 18. And I guess some of us wondering, can fathers be really good parents by themselves? Of course they can. Of course. I guess our earthly fathers are like our heavenly Father. They love us, they support us, they take care of us, and yes, they train and teach us. Well, this is the end of the story, Dancing with My Father. Hello, this is Cindy. I thought I would tell you a little bit about myself. You know, I always wanted to be a singer, a fantastic singer. And I remember singing one time, because that's what I love to do. I would sing so much around the house. My mother asked me one day, she said, "Baby, do you know how to sing Far Away?" I said, "No, Mom, I don't remember that song." She said, No, that's something I want you to do. Sing Far Away. Well, it occurred to me that I wasn't going to be a great singer. But there was something that I was sure that God had called me to do. I wasn't sure at first. By the time I reached 33, I had been married, 2 children, and divorced. And also by the time I turned 33, the doctor had diagnosed me with a disease. When I was diagnosed with this disease, I thought my life was pretty much ended. This disease was called glaucoma. Now at first I didn't understand the severity of it and how it would change my life. But as the years passed on, it changed my life tremendously. And there are a lot of things that I used to do I couldn't do. I couldn't teach. I couldn't even drive. I couldn't do a lot of things. I lost friends. So I got into bed and I tossed and turned and became very depressed. And then I thought I could just lay here and not do anything. Just lie here and just not do anything. Or I could get up and do something meaningful in my life. So I started a nonprofit organization, Women in Touch. This was to encourage women, especially women that have gone through domestic violence. I also, during that time, co-wrote a book. I also co-wrote plays, productions, and also, along with my partner, Kisha Emanuel Durrell, came up with the comedy act, Emma and Beulah. And now I'm at a different phase in my life. I have been ordained, and I believe that God has called me for a purpose, and that is to encourage you. No matter what you're going through in life, I know that God has a purpose and a plan for all of us. And sometimes if you don't know what your purpose or plan or what your purpose and plan is, it's the thing that's in your heart the most, the passion you feel. And mine was to encourage people to never give up in life. Well, now God has given me something else, and it's called spoken life. It's true situations around circumstances that may have been altered. Now, I am sure that God has given each one of you a purpose and a plan. So no matter what you're going through in life, please be encouraged.
Because you love me, I overcome. Yeah. And I'm so proud of what you've become. Yeah. You've given me such security. No matter what mistakes I make, you're there for me. You cure my